Hello everyone, this is Naida and today I will present an aesthetic analysis of Blood, Sweat and Tears by BTS released in 2016 as part of the album Wings. This video stands out because it combines music, visual design and art history into a multimedia experience. In this case, my analysis will focus on composition, color, lighting, set design and historical artistic references. Now let's get a look into the album. So this video belongs to the album Wings, whose visual identity is based on duality, innocence and corruption, light and darkness. It was directed by Choi Young-sung, and the director designed it as a movie museum where every scene references an artistic tradition. More than entertaining, this is a visual storytelling, and this album is also part of a trilogy that explores the psychology behind the person, behind the persona, behind our personality, behind everything basically that composes a human being. Now let's get a deeper look. So for this concept, uh, the video is inspired by Hermann Hesse's novel Damien, which explores the conflict between innocence and temptation. It also draws from Carl Jung's theory of the persona and the shadow, where the persona is the version of ourselves that we show to the world, while the shadow contains hidden desires and aesthetics. This video translates this psychological conflict into visual language through design and symbolism. And just in case you were wondering, Blood, Sweat and Tears is right between ego and shadow, that wavy gray line, because it's the breakage of the ego to meet the shadow of the person. The main idea of this video is the loss of innocence. This appears from the beginning inside the Crime Museum inspired by European art history. The first painting that shows is The Fall of the Rebel Angels by Peter Bruegel, which introduces themes of rebellion and temptation. Also, the use of scale makes the figure appear small, creating a sense of vulnerability, and the Baroque perception that we have in the video, it's there in order to create a false sense of perfection. The dominant style in this video is symmetrical composition. Long corridors and central framing create deep order inspired by classical architecture. This repetition gives a sense of perfection, while the appearance of black wings break the balance and create tension. Close-up shots later shape the order into an intimacy and emotional intensity. The museum in this case reflects a neoclassical design through columns, marble Saturn, and geometrical balance. These elements represent perfection and control. However, this perfect order feels artificial, suggesting that beneath the beauty, there is an instability waiting to emerge. In contrast, we have the some scenes that use Baroque style, especially dramatic lighting known as chiaroscuro, bright lights against deep shadows that create emotional intensity. Dinner table sense also refers to The Last Supper by Leonardo da Vinci, adding a symbolic meaning about sacrifice and temptation. Color is symbolic throughout the video. Color cream suggests beauty and order. Red represents passion, danger, and even betrayal, and green and blue create mystery and discomfort. These shifts of color temperature guide the viewer emotionally to reinforce psychological themes. Now, we get to talk about the statue keys that symbolize the collapse of the boundary between human and idealized perception. J-Hub ascends deepen the symbolism. This bow and arrow suggest focus on destiny, while his feet in water represents emotional inversion. With no solid ground beneath him, he appears consumed by emotion and without stability. The cracked statue beside Jean represents the fractured self. This reflects the Baroque tradition of showing beauty along decay. The contrast between leavened skin and broken stone asks which version is real, the perfect match or the damage through vignette. So it's basically the breakage of the persona and the showing of the shadow. So actually, 5 minutes was like a really, really short time to explain like the whole concept of this video because it really has a lot of meaning and a lot of more like art currents. I try to make it as short as possible because of the time. I just wanted to say thank you for looking at the video, and I would really like to have more time to talk about this. But that is for today. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Remember that we have Baroque influence, neoclassical influence, along with psychological terms, and to get to know the deep soul and the deep foundation of everyone. These concepts, such as persona and shadow, are things that we have within us and that we need to discover by ourselves. More than a song, more than a video, it's an invitation to get to know ourselves even in our darkest moment and accept ourselves even in our darkest shadow.